In question 1, it says, here is some information about a holiday. So it's a 7-night holiday and per person cost is $340. 8% discount if you book before 31st March. On 15th Feb, Naseem books this holiday for 2 people. Calculate the total cost of his holiday. So since he's booking before 31st March, that means he's going to get an 8% discount. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the 8% discount of 340. So 340 times 8 over 100, which is going to give us $27.2. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to find the total cost, which is basically going to be 340 minus 27.2 times 2. Why times 2? Because we're talking about 2 people. It's booking the holiday for 2 people, not just one. So we have to multiply the result by 2. And that's going to give us $625.6. Always remember that you have to subtract the discount from the original price to get the new price. And then you multiply the new price by 2 to get the cost for 2 people. Then it says that Naseem hires a car for his holiday. The total cost is $241.50. This cost includes a 15% tax. Calculate the cost of hiring the car, including the tax. The total cost is given as 241.5. This equals to X, which is the cost of hiring the car, plus 15% of X, which is your tax. So if we highlight this, so this is your cost of hiring the car, and this is your tax. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve this equation. 15 over 100 times X is 0.15. So 241.50 equals to X plus 0.15 of X, which is going to give us 241.50 equals to 1.15x because we add the 2. And then we divide 241.50 by 1.15, which is going to give us $210. That is your cost of hiring the car, excluding tax. Naseem drives a total of 800 kilometers on holiday. He uses a total of 29.6 liters of fuel. Calculate the average rate of fuel used in the liters per 100 kilometers. So they've told us that 29.6 liters of fuel is being used. So 29.6 divided by 8. Why divided by 8? Because the average rate is per 100 kilometers. So 800 kilometers becomes 8 kilometers. And 29.6 divided by 8 is going to equal to 3.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Naseem changes $450 to euros for his holiday. The exchange rate between dollars and euros is $1 equals to 0.82 euros. On holiday, he spends 297 euros. Naseem changes the remaining money back to dollars when he returns home. And the exchange rate then is $1 equals to 0.80 euros. So the value of euros has decreased. So work out how many dollars he receives. So let's start with this. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to find how much money he has changed to euros. So that's going to be 450 times 0.82, which is going to give us 369 euros. Then we're going to do is we're going to find how much is left. So remaining money is going to be 369 euros, which he changed, minus what he spent, which is 297. So 369 minus 297 is 72 euros. So that is the amount that is left. Now we convert this 72 back into dollars. So if $1 is 0.80 euros, €1 is going to be 1 over 0.80 dollars. So that's going to be 72 over 0.80, which is going to give us $90. So that's your answer. Next question says that the cumulative frequency diagram shows the masses and grams of 60 potatoes of variety A. We have to find the median and the interquartile range. So median is going to be the 30th value because 60 divided by 2 is 30. So that is going to give us 188. So median is 188 grams. Then for the interquartile range, we're going to find the upper quartile and the lower quartile. So Q1, the lower quartile is going to be 1/4 of 60, which is basically equal to 15. So you find the 15th value. 15th value is going to be 170. So Q1 is 170 grams. And then for the upper quartile, Q3, that's going to be 3/4 of 60, which is going to give us 45th value, which is going to come over here. So that is your 208 grams. So for the interquartile range, we'll subtract the two. 208 minus 170, and that is going to give us 8 grams. That is your interquartile range. Potatoes with a mass greater than 220 grams are sold as baking potatoes. Find the percentage of the potatoes that are sold as baking potatoes. So greater than 220 grams is going to come over this. So that's at 52. So we do 60 minus 52 over 60 times 100. 60 minus 52 is 8. 8 over 60 times 100. And that is going to give us 13.3%. That is your answer. The masses of 60 potatoes of variety B are also measured. For variety B, the median is 175 grams and the interquartile range is 30 grams. Callie wants to buy potatoes that are more consistent in mass. Should she choose variety A or variety B? Explain how you decide. So she should choose variety B. Why? Because the interquartile range is smaller for variety B. Your consistency is linked with the interquartile range. This is linked with interquartile range. So greater the interquartile range, lesser the consistency. So higher interquartile range, less consistent. And lower the interquartile range, greater the consistency. So if you remember this like relationship, you can easily answer your question without getting confused. Our BC's table shows the masses m grams of 120 potatoes of variety C. Calculate an estimate of the mean mass. So to find the mean of the mass, we're going to use the formula of sigma fx over sigma f. X values are going to be the midpoint of our class intervals. So for 80 to 100, that's 90, 110 for this one, 125 for this, 135 for this one, and for the last one, it's going to be 170. So we're going to do 90 times 10 plus 15 times 110 plus 125 times 42 plus 135 times 36 and plus 170 times 17. And all of this is going to be divided by the total frequency, which is given to us as 120. So now if we solve this, that should give you 129.58 grams. Your numerator would equal to 15,550 and your denominator is 120, which is already given. So you just plug it in the calculator and you would get 129.58. Next part says a bag of potatoes has a mass of 2.5 kgs correct to the nearest 100 grams. Bags of potatoes are packed into a box and the mass of the box is 600 grams correct to the nearest 10 grams. Calculate the upper bound of the total mass in kilograms of a box containing 10 of these bags of potatoes. So what we're going to do is that we're going to first find the degree of accuracy for your bag of potatoes. So for the degree of accuracy, whatever it's nearest to, you divide that value by 2, which is going to be 50 grams for this. I'm going to convert this 2.5 kgs into grams by doing 2.5 times 1000, which is 2500 grams. I know it says like give the answer in kilograms, but I'm going to convert it in the end. So I'm going to start with grams and keep it simple. So your upper bound for the bag of potatoes is going to be 2500 plus your degree of accuracy, which is 50. So that's going to give us 2550 grams. This entire thing is for your bag of potatoes. Now, next it says that the mass of the box is 600 grams. So now we find the degree of accuracy for that. So degree of accuracy is going to be 10 because it's nearest to 10 grams divided by 2, which is 5 grams. Upper bound of that is going to be 600 plus 5, which is 605 grams. This is your mass of the box. So we found the upper bound for the mass of the box and we found the upper bound of the bag of potatoes. The question says calculate the upper bound of the total mass in kilograms of a box containing 10 of these bags. So for 10 bags, we will multiply the upper bound by 10. So 2550 times 10, that's going to be 25,500 grams. And now total mass would be 25,500 plus 605, which is going to equal to 26,105 grams. Now in kgs, the upper bound is going to be this value divided by 1,000. That's going to be 26.11 kg. That is your answer for the upper bound of 10 of these bags of potatoes in kilograms. In question 3, it says in triangle PQR, PR is 7.5, QR is 6. Using a ruler and compasses only, construct triangle PQR. Line PQ has been drawn for you. So if line PQ has been drawn for us, we have to find where PR and QR would be. So from P, we will open our compass to a distance of 7.5, put it at P and draw an arc over here. So like somewhere over, it would be somewhere over here. And then we put the compass again at Q, but open it to 6 centimeters now and draw another arc from here. And those two arcs will give us the placement of R, which would be over here. That's 7.5 and that is 6. By taking suitable measurements from your triangle, calculate the area of triangle PQR. Already have your measurements of like your base. What you will do is you will measure your base of PQ and then you will measure your distance from R to the base. And then you will just multiply those two measurements with 1/2 and that would give you the area of the triangle PQR. Then it says the diagram shows two triangles. AB equals to 9.7, BC is 6.4, CD is 3.8, AC is 5.3, and ADC is 63. Calculate DAC. So DAC is this one. So to find this angle, we need to focus at the triangle DAC. So let's highlight this. So what we will do is we will use the sine rule because we have one length and complete angle set. And for the other thing, we have the length and we have to find the angle. So that meets the condition for sine rule. That's going to be 3.8 over sine of angle A equals to 5.3 over sine of angle 63. So I'm going to do 3.8 times sine 63 over 5.3 equals to sine of A. Take sine inverse of this entire thing, which will equal to, which is 0.6388 equals to angle A. Take sine inverse of that. And that's going to give us 39.7 degrees. That is your angle A. Then it says calculate ABC. So now if you have to find angle B, which is this one. So now we're focusing on the other triangle. I'm going to highlight that over here. AC, BC, and AB. So in this case, we have all three lengths of this triangle, but we don't have any of the angles. So this kind of meets the conditions for the cosine rule. For the cosine rule, you either need all three lengths or you need two lengths and the angle between them. So since we have all three lengths, we can apply cosine rule and find angle B. Angle B is basically going to be found using the formula cos of B equals to 5.3 square minus 9.7 square minus 6.4 square divided by -2 times 9.7 times 6.4. Next, what we do is we solve this, and this is going to equal to cos of B equals to 0.8614. And then we take cos inverse of this. And that will equal to 30 0.53 degrees. That is your angle B. Question 4 says complete the table for y equals to 4 over 5 times 2 to the power of x. So you have to find the value when x is -3. So that is going to be 4 over 5 times 2 to the power of -3, which is 4 over 5 times 1 over 8. 4 ones are 4, 4 twos are 8. 1 over 10 is 0.1. That is your y value. Then it says on the grid, draw the graph of y equals to 4 over 5 times 2 to the power of x for the value of x from -3 to +3. So let's plot this now. -3 and 0.1. So that's going to be over here. -2 and 0.2. That's over here. -1 and 0.4. That's over here. And 1, 1.0 and 0.8. That's going to be over here. Then 1 and 1.6. So for that, 1.6 is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think, yeah, that is our point. Then 2 and 3.2. That is over here. And lastly, 3 and 6.4. It's going to be 1 unit down. So basically, it's going to be over here. Yeah. So now let's connect the points. So that is your graph. That's the best I can do in this tiny little graph. So next it says, by drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient of the graph when x equals to 2. Drawing tangent at x equals to 2. So x equals to 2 is basically this point. So if we draw a tangent over here, we can pick 2 points. We can pick x equals to 2 and 3.2. So 2 and 3.2, that's 1 point. And the other point I would like to pick is, let's go for a whole number. So if I pick this point, by whole number, I mean like a full box. So that's going to be 1.2 over here. And 1.1, 2, 3, 1.4. So 1.2 and 1.4. So your gradient would be 3.2 minus 1.4 divided by 2 minus 1.2. And that should give us 2.25. That is the value of the gradient that I'm getting. Then it says use your graph to estimate the solution of the equation. The equation y equals to 4 over 5 times 2 to the power of x. So if we do 5y equals to 4 times 2 to the power of x, think it only equal to 5 if y equals to 1, which means 5 times 1 equals to 4 times 2 to the power of x. That means we have to draw a line at y equals to 1, and that would give us the solution of the equation. So if you go back to the graph, y equals to 1 is this. So this is going to give us the solution of 0.3. Yeah, I'm getting 0.3. So that is an estimate of the solution when y equals to 1 is intersecting with this graph, or the value of y equals to 1 on this graph. Question 5 says the diagram shows a garden shed positioned on horizontal ground is in the shape of a prism with trapezium ABCD as its cross section. The base of the shed ABFE is a rectangle. AB is 1.55, AD is 2.25, BC is 1.85, and BF is 2.10 m. CD at the volume of the shed. So volume of an object is basically the cross-section area times the height. We have rectangular base, and the front-facing face is a prism. So this is our prism over here. And the front-facing face is trapezium, which I've highlighted in pink. So these are two parallel sides, A and B, and this is our height. We find area of ABDC, that's going to be 1 over 2 times 1.55 times sum of 2.25 and 1.85, which is going to give us 3.1775 meters square. As I said, volume of any shape is basically the cross section area times the height. Cross section area is what we just found, which is 3.1775. And the height is this running length, which is 2.10. So we multiply this by when we multiply this by 2.10, that should give us 6.67 meter cube. That is the volume of the shed. The roof of the shed CGHT is painted. 1 liter of paint covers 2 square meters. Calculate the amount of paint used. So if we go to CGHD, it is this face. So first we need to figure out what CD would be. We don't know the length. We know that CG is the same as BF. That's 2.1. But we don't know what this length is. I'm going to highlight this over here. You have to find this length. So I'm going to make this triangle over here, so you have better clarity as to what I'm talking about. This over here is C, this is D, and I'm going to call this X. This is X. So we can find the length of dx first by doing 2.25 minus 1.85. BA is parallel to CB. So to find this length over here, we subtract the two, and that gives us 0.4 meters. So now 0.4 meters is dx. We know what cx is, which is going to be 1.55. So since it's a right angle triangle over here, we can find DC using Pythagoras. D square is going to equal to 0.4 square plus 1.55 square, which is going to give us square root of 2.5625, and that equals to 1.6. That is your DC. So if we have this 1.6, so we can find the total area of this face DCGH. Which is going to be 1.6 times 2.1, and that will give us 3.36 meter square or centimeter square, depending on what the, yeah, it's meter square. And then what's it called? The question said that we had to find the paint. So for the paint, it said that 1 liter paint covers 2 square meters. So how many liters are covering this much area? So if 1 liter is 2 meters square, so for 3.36 meters square, we will do 1 over 2 times 3.36, and that will give us the total liters, which is 1.68 liters. That is your answer for the amount of paint used to cover the top face. Then it says calculate the angle of elevation of D from F. So to calculate the angle of elevation of D from F, connect the 2 points first. This is a right angle triangle of D from F. So this is the angle that we're trying to find. We don't have AF. So we'll find AF using Pythagoras again, because once again, it's a right angle triangle, because it's a rectangular face, AEFB. So AF square equals to AB square plus BF square. So AF is going to be square root of 1.55 square plus 2.10 square. And that is going to give us 2.61. That is AF. So 2.61. So now as you can see, we have DA and AF in this right angle triangle. So we can easily find the angle using tan. Tan of angle F equals to 2.25, which is our opposite, divided by 2.61, which is our adjacent. So angle F is going to be tan inverse of this fraction. And that is going to give us 40.76 degrees. That is your angle F, or basically your angle of elevation of D from F. Question 6 says solve the inequality. So we're going to do, I'm going to bring 2x to the left-hand side and move -7 to the right-hand side, which gives us 6x plus 2x greater than 5 plus 7. That is 8x greater than 12. X is going to be 12 over 8, which is basically going to be 3 over 2, which can be rewritten as 1.5. So x is greater than 1.5. Part B says Chen buys 4 notebooks and 3 pens for $17.50. Liu buys 2 notebooks and 5 pens for $14. Form a pair of simultaneous equations and solve them to find the cost of a notebook and the cost of a pen. So what we're going to do is that we're going to first create our two equations. I'm going to say notebooks are N and pens are P. So 4N plus 3P equals to 17.50. Then 2N plus 5P equals to 14. These are our two equations, and we're going to solve them simultaneously. I'm going to solve them using the elimination method. And to use the elimination method, I'm going to eliminate variable n. To eliminate variable n, I need to make sure that the coefficient of variable n is same in both the equations. In the first equation, n has the coefficient of 4. In the second equation, n has the coefficient of 2, which means I need to multiply the second equation by 2. So that's going to give us 4n plus 10p equals to 28. Now we're going to solve this equation with equation 1. 4n plus 3p equals to 17.50. Since the coefficient of n are equal, I can subtract the two equations, and that's going to give me 4n minus 4n 0. 10p minus 3p is 7p equal to 28 minus 17.5, which is basically equal to 10.5. So P is going to be 10.5 divided by 7, and that equals to $1.5. So this is the cost of a pen. To find the cost of a notebook, I'm going to do 2n plus 5 times 1.5. I substituted the value of P in equation 2, which is 2n plus 7.5 equals to 14. 2n equals to 14 minus 7.5, which is basically equal to 6.5. And n is going to be 6.5 divided by 2. And that gives us $3.25. That is your cost of a notebook. Part C says show that x over x plus 2 minus 3 over x minus 5 equals to 4 can be rearranged to 3x squared minus 4x minus 34. So we have x over x plus 2 minus 3 over x minus 5 equals to 4. I'm going to multiply the first fraction by x minus 5 and the second fraction by x plus 2 to make the denominators equal. So that's going to give us x plus 2 times x minus 5, x times x minus 5, and minus 3 times x plus 2 equals to 4, which is x squared minus 5x minus 3x minus 6 divided by x squared minus 5x plus 2x minus 10 equals to 4. We expanded the bracket both in the numerator and denominator. That's going to leave us with x squared minus 8x minus 6 over x squared minus 3x minus 10 equals to 4. Cross multiply. X squared minus 8x minus 6 equals to 4 times x squared minus 3x minus 10, which is going to give us 4x squared minus 12x minus 40. Bring everything on one side, so that's going to be 4x squared minus x squared minus 12x plus 8x minus 40 plus 6. That's going to give us 3x squared minus 4x minus 34, which is exactly the same as the equation given in the question. Then it says solve the equation and show your working, giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So it clearly says that your answer would be in decimals. So we directly use the quadratic equation instead of using middle term breakage. X equals to negative b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac over 2a. A is 3, b is negative 4, and c is negative 34. That's going to be negative minus 4 plus minus square root of negative 4 square minus 4 times 3 times negative 34 over 2 times 3, which is 4 plus minus square root of 16 plus 408 over 12, which is 4 plus minus 20.59 divided by 12. Divided by 6. 6 over here, which is going to give us one value as 4 plus 20.59 over 6, which is equal to 4.10. And the other value is 4 minus 20.59 over 6, which is equal to negative 2.77. Question 7 says A, B, C, and D are points of the circle center O. BAD is 68 and CBO is 52. Find CDO. This is the angle they're asking us to find. So if you look at this, we have a quadrilateral over here. And we know sum of angles of a quadrilateral is 360. And this angle is going to be twice of 62. So it's going to be angle DOC is 2 times 68, which is going to equal 136. So this is 136. This we don't know. And this we can find by doing angle BCD is going to be 180 minus 68. Why? Because ABCD quadrilateral is a cyclic quadrilateral. All 4 vertices are touching the circumference. Hence, in a cyclic quadrilateral, opposite angles add up to 180. So to find angle C, we will do 180 minus 68, which is equal to 112. So to find angle D over here, we will do angle CDO is going to be 360 minus 136 minus 112 and then minus 52. And that will give us 60 degrees. That is your answer. Part B says the cross section of solid A is the sector of a circle of radius 6 centimeters and angle 40 degrees. The height of the solid is 5 centimeters. Calculate the total surface area of the solid A. So total surface area, let's start with the faces. This is one rectangular face. And this is the other rectangular face. So we can find the area of these rectangular faces. Area of rectangle 5 times 6 times 2 because there are 2 rectangles. So that's going to be 60 centimeters square. Now we talk about the top face, which is this and this sector. For this sector, area of sector, we will do theta over 360 times pi r square, which is 40 over 360 times pi times 6 square, because 6 is the radius of this sector. So once we solve that, we will get 12.57. Now, as you can see, there's a bottom face as well, because obviously it looks like a cheese slice, basically, like, you know. So we have a sector at the top face and we have a sector at the bottom face. So total area of sector would be total sector area would be twice of 12.57, which is basically going to equal to 25.14 centimeters square. So now we're left with this curved surface area over here, which is this, and this thing, basically this area. We're left with this face now. So curved surface area is going to be your circumference times your length of 5. So that's going to be 40 over 360 times 2 pi r6 times the height, which is 5. Basically, this curved part is your circumference of the sector, or basically this curved part is your arc of the sector arc. This is your sector arc. So sector arc times this height 5 will give us the curved surface area of this entire curve. So that's going to equal to 20.94 centimeters square. So now we find the total area. I'm going to keep it color coded. So total area is going to be the sum of all of these values: 60, 20.94, then 25.14. Yeah, these three values. And that is going to give us 106.1 centimeters square. Solid B is mathematically similar to solid A. The ratio volume of solid A to volume of solid B is 27:1. Calculate the surface area of solid B. So to calculate the surface area of solid B, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that volume of A divided by volume of B, which is 27/1. If we take the cube root of this, that will give us length of A over length of B. If you remember the theorem for similar shapes, your ratio of like the length of two similar shapes will, if you cube it, that will equal to the volume. And if we square that ratio, that equals to the area. So if I just quickly write that over here, your LA over LB being cubed equals to the volume of A over volume of B. And if you're squaring them, length of A over length of B is being squared, that equals to the area of A over area of B. That is the theorem for similar shapes. So going back to our calculation, that gives us the ratio of length of A is to be as 3:1. Length of A over length of B. We're trying to find the surface area. For the surface area, we would square it. 3/1 square equal to your surface area of A to surface area of B. We just found the surface area of A, which was 106.1 1 divided by surface area of B. So that's going to be 9/1 equals to 106.1 over surface area of B. Surface area of B is going to equal to 106.1 over 9, and that is going to give us 11.79 centimeter square. As you can see, we found the surface area of solid A in the previous part. So we have that value. We already figured out the ratio of lengths, which is 3:1. So there's just one unknown, which is the surface area of B, and that is exactly what we're trying to find. So we squared the ratio of lengths and put it equal to the ratio of surface area of both the shapes. And that gives us the answer. Question 8 says a bag contains 36 balls. There are n red balls in the bag. The rest of the balls are green. Esther takes 2 balls from the bag at random without replacement. Complete the tree diagram. So for the first ball, if it's n over 36, then the second ball, red, would be n minus 1 because there is no replacement. So there's one less ball. So if you take in one red ball, number of red balls would now be n minus 1. And total number of balls would become one less, which is 35. Number of green balls remain the same if Esther is taking a red ball. So 36 minus n remains as it is. However, the total number changes because there is one less ball in the total number of balls. So moving on to this, if she's taking a green ball, your red ball would be n over 35. Like I said, your other categories total number remains the same. However, the total number of balls would be one less, which would be 35 if she takes a green ball. And over here it would be 35 minus n because there is one green ball over 35. Write an expression in terms for the probability that Esther's first ball is red and her second ball is green. So if the first ball is red and second ball is green, we're taking this route, which means we will do n over 36 times 36 minus n over 35, which will basically equal to 36n minus n square divided by 1260. The probability that Esther's first ball is red and his second ball is green is given as 1/7. Show that n square minus 36n plus show that n square minus 36n plus 180 equals to 0. So the probability that we found in the previous case, which was 36n minus n square over 1260, that is equal to 1/7. Cross multiply 36n minus n square equals to 1260 over 7, which is basically equal to 180. We move 36n minus n square to the right hand side. That's going to be n square minus 36n plus 180 equal to 0. The reason why we move 36n minus n square to the right hand side is because if you look at the equation, the question, our n square is positive and 36n is negative, which was the opposite of what was happening in the previous step. So to make it correct, we just moved them to the right hand side and the signs changed automatically. So this is the equation that they wanted us to show. And the next part, they're asking us to solve the equation. So what we're going to do is we're going to use middle term breakage on this. N square minus 36n plus 180 equals to 0. We multiplied the coefficient of n square, which is 1, with our constant, which is 180. So that's going to give us 180. Factors of 180 are 18 times 10, 90 times 2, 20 times 9, 30 times 6, 60 times 3, and there's probably some other as well. We're going to pick that set of factors which when added or subtracted gives us the middle term, which is 36. And that is only happening with 30 times 6, because 30 plus 6 is going to be 36. Hence, we're going to replace negative 36n with negative 30 minus 6n plus 180. Middle term breakage basically means that you're breaking the term that's in the middle, which is the term with like the variable that has the power of 1, into two other terms, which when added or subtracted give the term. So we know negative 30 minus 6 is negative 36, so we can split it. Now we factor by grouping. First group is n square minus 30n. And we factorize that, we get n times n minus 30. Second group is negative 7n plus negative, second group is negative 6n plus 180. We can take negative 6 common, so that's going to be n minus 30 again. So n minus 30 is common between n and negative 6, so they come in the second bracket. So n is 30 and n is equal to 6. Then it says there are more green balls than red balls in the bag. So we know red balls had the probability of n over 36 and green balls were 36 minus n over 36. They're saying there are more green balls than red balls, which means n has to equal to 6. Because if n equal to 30, then red balls would be greater than green balls. So to make sure that the green balls are greater than red balls, we choose the value of n equals to 6. So now if we choose n equals to 6, green balls are going to be 36 minus 6 over 36, which is 30 over 36. And red would be 6 over 36. Going back to the question, it says that find the probability that Esther takes 2 green balls. So for 2 green balls, it's going to be 30 over 36 times 35 minus 6 over 35. So 30 over 36 times 29 over 35. And that is equal to 29 over 42. Because 5 6 are 30, 5 7s are 35, 6 1s are 6, 6 6 are 36. So 29 over 42. If it still doesn't make sense, I will go back to your graph. I'll go back to your tree diagram. They're saying 2 green balls. So that's this and this. Probability of this was over here, 35 minus n over 35. Since n is 6, so this would be 36 minus 6 over 36 times 35 minus 6 over 35, which is the same as what we did, 30 over 36 times 29 over 35. That would give you the same 29 over 42. I hope it makes sense, but if you're still confused about like how we're choosing like n equals to 6 and getting to this conclusion, just like comment and like, just comment below and just let me know. Like you can just comment below and I'll help you out again. Question 9 says H is the point 5, 2 and J is the point negative 3 and 6. Find HJ. Vector H is going to be OJ minus OH, which is going to be negative 3, 6 minus 5, 2, which is going to be negative 8 and 4. Negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8, 6 minus 2 is 4. Calculate the magnitude of Hj. So for the magnitude, I'm going to do -8 square plus 4 square, which is 64 plus 16, and that is square root of 80, which is basically 8.94. That is the magnitude of Hj. M is the midpoint of Hj. Find the position vector of M. So we know Hj is -8 and 4. If M is the midpoint, that means M would be 5 minus 3 over 2 and 2 plus 6 over 2. So if we bring it down, 5 minus 3 is 2, so 2 over 2. 2 plus 6 is 8 over 2. That's going to be 1, 4. So the position vector of M is 1, 4. Quadriceps diagram shows a shape made from 7 identical equilateral triangles. OA is P and OF is Q. Express as simply as possible in terms of P and or Q what FB is. So FB is this. So if we take the root of, if we look at OA and FB, FB is basically twice of OA because they're parallel. So this would equal to P and this would also equal to P. So FB would be twice of OA, which is 2 times P, so 2P. Then it says FE. So FE is going to be this one. So for FE, we can start with the root of FG plus GE. So now FG is going to be P again because once again they're parallel to each other. And GE is going to be Q because GE is parallel to OF. So that means it's going to be FE is going to be FG plus GE, which is P plus Q. Both are in the same direction, so the sign doesn't even change. It's just directly P plus Q. Then X is a point on FP and f of X is to XP is 3:1. Express OX as simply as possible in terms of P and or Q. So OX is basically, X is a point on FB such that Fx to XP is 3:1. So which means it's going to be, let's say somewhere over here. Fx to XP is 3:1. So this is 1. This entire thing is 3. And this part over here is 1. Yeah. We have to find OX basically. We know that f of X is to XB is 3:1. But we also know that FB was given as 2P. So if you're trying to find the value of Fx, Fx is going to be 3/4 of 2P. So that's going to be 3/2 times P, which means if we do OF plus FX for OX, which is OF plus FX, that is going to be Q plus 3 over 2P. And that's how you get your OX vector. Part 3 says, why is the point on BD quadrilateral OXYF is a trapezium? Express XY as simply as possible in terms of P and or Q. So Y lies on BD, and we know X was over here. So we're saying that OXFY is a trapezium. So if we connect it, OX, OF, and in a trapezium, your two sides are parallel. So these two sides are going to be your parallel sides, OX and FY. This is where Y is. These are your parallel sides. So we are trying to find the value of XY. XY is basically going to be equal to XO plus OF and plus FY. We calculated OX in the previous part, which was Q plus 3 over 2P. So XO would be the opposite of that, negative Q minus 3 over 2P. OF is Q and Fy is something that we don't know. You can see that Fy is parallel to OX because in a trapezium, there are two parallel sides and OX and Fy are those parallel sides. Now, we don't know the coordinates of Fy, but we know that OX is Q plus 3 over 2P. And when two sides are parallel, like one of them is basically multiplied by a number. Like, you know, if they're especially not in the same size. They have the same vector, but one of them is being multiplied by a specific number. So let's assume that specific number is K over here. So Fy right now equals to K times Q plus 3 over 2 K times P. Okay. So we're assuming this is the vector for Fy right now. If we choose another root for Fy, we can see that Fy can also equal to Fb plus By. So for Fb plus By equal to Fy, Fb we know as 2P and By is something that we don't know. But we know that OF is parallel to By. So it's probably, Q being multiplied to something to give us By. So let's say that thing is another multiplier M times Q equal to Fy. So you put both the Fy's equal to each other. That's going to be KQ plus 3 over 2 KP equals to 2P plus MQ. So if we put the P's equal to each other, 3 over 2 K equals to 2 and K would be 2 times 2 over 3, which is 4 over 3. So since we have the value of K, which is 4 over 3, we can easily use this vector over here and substitute it in this to find XY. We don't need to find the M value because that's not relevant for at least this thing. So negative Q minus 3 over 2P plus Q plus 4 over 3 times Q plus 3 over 2P. So that's going to be negative Q minus 3 over 2P plus Q plus 4 over 3Q and plus 2P. Negative 3 over 2p plus 2p is going to equal to p over 2. Negative q plus q is 0, and then 5, and then 4 over 3q. That is basically your vector for xy. I know it seems like very confusing, but like the main concept that we're using is of parallel lines. When two lines are parallel, and if they're not equal in length, that means one of those lengths which are like one of those lengths which is smaller than the other one, that being multiplied by a number gives the bigger length. So we're using that logic to create a vector for fy, and then use that vector to find the value of that constant being multiplied to the vector, and then creating the vector for fy. Like, I know it sounds a little repetitive, and then like, we find the vector of xy. Question 10 says there are two functions and we have to first find f of negative 4. So for f of negative 4, we're going to do 3 minus 2 times negative 4 over 5, which is 3 plus 8 over 5, and that is 11 over 5. And it says find f inverse of x. So y equals to 3 minus 2x over 5. Cross multiply. 5y equals to 3 minus 2x. Now make x the subject. So I'm going to swap 5y with 2x. 2x equals to 3 minus 5y. And x equals to 3 minus 5y over 2. So f inverse x is going to be 3 minus 5x divided by 2. G of p equals to f of p plus 1. Find the value of p. So g of p is going to be p minus 7 over 4. We replace the x of g with p. And f of p plus 1 is going to be 3 minus 2 times p plus 1 over 5. In this case, we replace the x of f of x with p plus 1. Cross multiply. 5 times p minus 7 equals to 4 times 3 minus 2p minus 2, which is 5p minus 35 equals to 4 times 1 minus 2p. 5p minus 35 equals to 4 minus 8p. 5p plus 8p equals to 4 plus 35, which is going to be 13p equals to 39. P is basically 39 over 13, which is 3.